ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ידיד נפש על הרחמן משוכב דך רצונך ירוץ עבדך כמו היה ישתחווה מול הדרך ירב לו ידידותך מנופץ וברכותך הדור נהזיב העולם נפשי חולת אהבתך הנעל נרפה הנעלה בהרות לנועם זיווך אז תתחזק ותתרפא והייתה לך שפחת עולם ותיק יהמו רחמך וחוסנה הבן אהובך כמה נחשוף נחשף לראות בתפארת וזכנה לי מחמד ליבי חוסנה ואל תתעלם יגאלנה ופרוס חביב עלי את סוכת שלומך תאיר ארץ מכבודך נגילה ונשמחה בך מהר אהוב כבמועד וכונני כמי עולם Erev Tov, Rabbi. It's getting on Shabbat.
Erev Tov, Jonathan. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for opening our program here with a little bit of beautiful music. Thank you so much to Jonathan Bayer. We're going to invite him back in just a little bit. It's good to see everyone. Here I see the people who are here, a bunch of people I actually saw in person today a number of you, Sandy and Ellen and Harriet and Sandra and Deborah and Ruth. It was good to see all of you today. That was a great thing, being able to be in person. I know a lot of us have been missing that. For those who are new, my name is Rabbi Dan Ain. I'm the senior rabbi at Congregation Beth Shalom here in San Francisco. And if you can believe it, this is our 19th Shabbat under a shelter-in-place order here in San Francisco. And our theme today is engaging and supporting families. So here we are again. This is our 19th week here. And it is actually the end of the second full book of the Torah. So we, under shelter in place, read the entire book of Leviticus, and this Shabbat we are going to conclude the entire book of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers. And at the end of each book of the Torah, we say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek, be strong, let us be strengthened. And I would say that's a pretty appropriate refrain for what many of us are going through here at this moment, especially in light of the events of this past week. Alana and our family were blessed to be on vacation, and we came back this week. And I think it has been a challenge, not only with the news that there looks like there is a dangerous upswing. I think we here in San Francisco and in California are now considered to be in the red zone. The best plans of the San Francisco mayor to reopen some of our establishments have been put in reverse. And there are also the news of the public schools here in San Francisco not being able to reopen next month. And I know that that news hit a lot of parents and families particularly hard, especially this family over here. We are blessed with soon a boy who is soon to enter into kindergarten, as well as his big sister. And so it is a challenge, I think, for a lot of families out there. And I think what we need now is strength. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Be strong, we should be strengthened. And hopefully, with what we're going to present today, we're going to be welcoming in Adam Lowy, who is our brand new, who just came on board here at Beth Shalom. He is our lifelong learning Mora Derech, and Dale Kleisley, who is our Family Engagement Director, to share with you how we in this community are responding to the needs of the families, how we can better serve you, and then hopefully carry on a little dialogue. So maybe if you want to type in now some questions, maybe you're a family that is trying to navigate all of this and you're looking for additional support. We are here to support you. And so if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, we're going to take some of those questions and you can feel free to put them in. And you should also start putting in, if you want to, names of loved ones, perhaps loved ones who are in need of healing. Of course, more people in California are now getting sick. And so you should put the names of the loved ones, because we always begin with a prayer for healing, and especially as the cases are now on an upswing. And also not only that, but also those people who are dealing with other ailments and other illnesses. I think you can put those names in there, and I'm going to recite the traditional Misha Berach, include the names that are on our community list of those loved ones here that we are praying for. And if you prefer to say, I'll pause after I finish my names so that you can, if you prefer to just say the names that you have out loud, whatever is comfortable for you, feel free to do that. So may God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing and healing to Shlomo ben Nechama, Chaim Velvel ben Esther Venatan, Sam Nussbaum, Yudel Hirsch ben Golda, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, David Murray, Chaim Liebisch ben Shena Simcha, Ari ben Natan Vimalka, George Hall, Bruce Plotter, Pesach ben Bela Shifra, Penina Bat Gittel, Leonard Lewis, Dorothy Malloy, Natan ben Miriam, Toby Ludmer, Pamela Ward, Sarah Paredes, Ephraim Margolin, Beryl Ben Devora, Shmuel Ben Leib, Gershon Ben Esther, Moshe Chaim Ben Sarah, Shulamit Bat Devora, Herschel Ben Gittel, Yosef, Pam, Jason, and Kurt, Susan Tarlow and Julie Chandler, Sarah Bat Rivka, Rosa from Sendreco, as well as all of those names that you have said in your heart and in your homes. May God bring blessing and healing to all of them and to all who suffer illness within our extended community and Kol HaOlam, all of the world. May the Holy One mercifully restore them to health and vigor, granting them physical and spiritual well-being, and including Ziva Langley, Gary Fritz, and Mary Fritz, together with all others who are ill. And let us say, Amen. Well, I really wish there was some wonderful, uplifting Torah portion and some great story that I had for you. But this week, I think we have my least favorite of all Torah portions. The Torah portion, Matot and Messiah, which conclude the book of Numbers, are particularly challenging. We have an image of a very angry God, a God who asks Moses to bring upon vengeance upon the Midianite people. And it's a tough portion. And I think a lot of us tend to be embarrassed by this image of God, a God who is angry, a God who is vengeful. We're much more comfortable, I include myself in this, we're much more comfortable with the image of a loving, forgiving God. But Rabbi Heschel reminds us that this divine anger that we see from God in our Torah is never irrational or unpredictable. It is always purposeful, even if we might not be able to understand it. And it ultimately is an expression of God's concern for humanity. Abraham Joshua Heschel writes, is it more compatible with our conception of the grandeur of God to claim that God is emotionally blind to the misery of human beings rather than profoundly moved? Heschel's point is that a God who does not get angry, who is incapable of doing so, is an indifferent God. And that is not the God that we find in our Torah. And a lot of the images that we have for God in our Torah and in our tradition are inevitably come from our human filter. They come from how we understand that world. Those images and those feelings that perhaps we also have in all of us. And maybe sometimes that embarrassment that we have about an angry God or an upset God or a vengeful God is we want to push that down or are embarrassed by it because we feel that anger and that upset inside of all of us. And I know this past week, perhaps this past month or months, a lot of us have found anxiety and anger and upset inside of us. And yet for those of us with families and children, we want to keep that below the surface. We want to make sure that we are cool, calm, and collected. And yet I haven't been able to keep that for 19 weeks. And I think, what is it about those emotions and that anger that is expressed by God, that shows God's caring for us, and that also can express our own righteous indignation at what is going on in that world? How do we communicate that? How do we internalize that? And how do we share that inside of our families? I think that's the challenge that we have this week and in all of this time. And so we're blessed that we are going to bring in the experts that Beth Shalom has put together, a real team of people, strong, empathic group of people who are trying to take whatever anger or anxiety or upset that we have inside of us and use it in a productive fashion. Not to deny it, not to pretend we're not disappointed, but rather to take that momentum or that energy that is inside of us and use it to help others, and to be on the street or to be in the shul greeting people socially distanced. One of the things that I found in talking to many of you today was that you want to do something, you want to get out, you want to give hugs. And that's that energy that we have inside of us that can sometimes blow up because we don't have the right place to put it. And so we're going to bring on Adam and Dale in a bit, and hopefully we're going to figure out what we can do as a community, and what's the type of strength that we can provide everyone who is going through these moments. And because we care deeply about our children, we do this every Friday night. And if any children are watching, and I hope you are, because I know they love Dale and Adam and Jonathan, I want to begin with a blessing, the blessing that is given to parents to their children every Friday night. So if you have kids with you, bring them close. Take a moment to just gather and welcome in the Shabbat. And I'll begin first with the girls. Yisamech Elohim Kisara, Rivka, Rachel, V'Leah. God make you as Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And for the boys, Yisimcha Elohim K'Ephraim V'Chi Menashe. May God make you as Ephraim and Menashe. And for all of those children who might not fit comfortably into either of those first two blessings, this blessing is always for you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be sweet to you. May God grant you learning and fun and beautiful times with your families and lots of games and wonderful nourishment and beautiful moments that you will cherish for a lifetime. And above all else, peace. And let us say, Amen. At this time, I'd like to turn to my wife here for our Tex and Jinx moment of our program. This is when we schmooze a little bit. People get to check in and see how the rabbi and the rabbi's wife is doing. So how are we doing?
Well, I think you accurately expressed that it has been a bit of a roller coaster. And it was good to get a little bit of physical space and then come back. And then it just a lot of ups and downs and all around, trying to figure out kind of what's next and what's next for our kids and for us.
I remember I had a phone call earlier this week and you were so nervous. You couldn't even be in the room when I had that phone call to try to figure out what we were going to do about the kids.
Well, listen, this is no joke. I mean, this is definitely, we are in a situation that is unprecedented. And I think not just our kids, we are feeling the impact of just kids across this city and across this country who are not being done right by, and their families. So this is such a big crisis that we're facing right now. But I will say there was just some real inspiring moments that I also have had. And they really do involve the educators. And I do just want to also acknowledge that the teachers right now, I don't know if I say it enough, but the teachers right now, I mean, they're my absolute heroes. And some of them are really taking a lot of heat. I mean, I've seen some of my friends who are teachers in New York City and just, putting on their Facebook post, like, if you can reach out and check in with us, like, we need your support. I mean, people are struggling and teachers are struggling, and I think we need to be together and show our support. But I just want to give a shout out to the guests who we have here today, because these educators inspire me and they inspire my children. And one thing that has been really beautiful and uplifting is seeing our son be able to be in his body in the physical space of the congregation, in the outdoor space in the beautiful plaza, with Jonathan, who played the music at the front end of this and who will come back, with Jonathan playing music and with Dale acting out the stories of our Torah. And Adam, we just had a call with him and talking about some of the work that he's going to be doing in our community. And that, just to see my child be present in his body with his feet dancing and his hands clapping in that space. And I wasn't in that space. I was watching it on Zoom, separated, because we can't all be in that space together. But just to see him back in that space and light up like that, and it was really powerful and beautiful. It made me very, very grateful. So I think this is an incredible team of people, and I'm excited to be here with them.
Well, I think you're incredible. Shabbat
Thank you.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Before we bring out Adam and Dale, we are going to just pause to remember those loved ones and members of our community who have passed away in recent weeks, and those for whom we will be observing a yard site this upcoming week. If you have names that you would like to include, you can also write those names. So we remember Betty Jane Abrams, who passed away just a few weeks ago. And the yard sites upcoming this week in our community: Kopel Abro, Leo Azrach, Max Bronner, Seymour Gelfand, Eva Leah Gunther, Alan Minkowski, Louise Shireman, Beverly Silverman,
Gail Levine.
Gail Levine. May their memories and the memories of all those that are in your hearts at this moment forever be for blessing. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. A couple of brief announcements. If you are interested in joining our L'chaim, just write in L'chaim in the comment section here, and you will get a click through so that you can join us immediately after for our moment and a chance to have a little L'chaim before the Shabbat comes in. And let me now welcome in our guests. This is our brand new family engagement team here at Congregation Beth Shalom, Adam Lowy and Dale Kleisley. Adam Lowy is our lifelong learning Mora Derech. And he's going to tell us a little bit about what that means. And he comes to us after completing his role as the Jewish Resource Specialist Coordinator, which is a program run through the Early Childhood and Family Engagement Initiative of the SF Bay Area Jewish Community Federation. He supported teachers throughout the Bay Area to help them deepen Jewish learning and engage families in Jewish life. And one of those resource specialists that he worked with was Dale Kleisley. So Dale, as you know, is our assistant director of our preschool and our director of family engagement. And she has been our Jewish resource specialist for the past 3 years, working with Adam. Dale has been with Beth Shalom for 10 years. She's a dedicated member of our preschool staff and our community. She has a specialization in Jewish history from SF State, and her daughter just finished preschool at CBS with my son, Shimmy. And so we'll see how in the world they're going to start kindergarten pretty soon. Adam, it is a real treat to have you and to be able to welcome you officially to our staff here at Congregation Beth Shalom. For those of you who maybe haven't gotten a chance to see our take-home Torah, maybe we could put that take-home Torah into the comments section here. Adam and Jonathan, each week we've been putting together these take-home Torah. So just different opportunities from myself, from Rabbi Russell, from Marilyn Heiss, different leaders in our community. And Adam and Jonathan put together a total wonderful beatbox rap on these 2 Torah portions, Matot and Messiah. So I definitely is a must watch for anyone who has the chance. So Adam, welcome aboard here. I'm really blessed to be able, especially during this time, to have you join our community as our lifelong learning Mora Derech. I'm looking forward to you sharing to our community here what that means. But first of all, how are you? How is your family? How are you holding up? And what's it like to start a new job in the midst of a pandemic?
These are great questions. So good to be here. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Jonathan, as always, the music, a beautiful way to begin. And yeah, there's a lot going on. And it is a bizarre time to start a new job, that is for sure. I'm blessed that I'm able to have a job, and I recognize that, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. How am I doing? It's been a really busy week. I've learned a lot about the infrastructure of Beth Shalom, and I've learned a lot about the community really quickly. I've had some great conversations with some various parents of kind of the Shabbat school age program. And yeah, so it's been really nice to be busy and engaged with my work. It's been nice to see what I need to do now and what I need to do soon and what I need to do in the future, at least have a bit of a better sense now that I've started, and rather than kind of the discussion and the ideas that you and I have had over the last many months about this possibility. The family, you know, for those of you who know me, I'm so blessed. My family is, they're amazing from top to bottom and from each direction. And they are rolling with this as well as anybody that I've witnessed. And granted, there's not many that I've witnessed because we pretty much stick to ourselves, but I'm in a lot of conversation. I've talked to many, and I just feel so fortunate because I know what I'm facing is not as difficult as most right now.
And I think a lot of us feel similarly, just overcome with blessings and yet stuck in wanting to help. And so you're now on board to help, and you chose the title Lifelong Learning Moreh Derech. So tell us what that means.
Well, lifelong learning, I think, is pretty self-explanatory in the sense that, you know, learning, in my opinion, and hopefully for everyone here, is a notion that never ends, and something that we are, again, blessed to have the opportunity to continue to do forever. And it's pretty much a commandment of us as Jews to continue to learn. And so lifelong learning, obviously, and it is a good thing that is a part of Beshalom's intention. As far as Moreh Derech, I thought a long time about what should be the rest of my title. And Moreh Derech is kind of literally translated in Hebrew to teacher of the path, or direction, or way, is the word derech. And it's also in more modern Hebrew, or if you're kind of in the streets of Israel and you're looking for a Moreh Derech, it's actually your tour guide. And so I really liked kind of the notion of I believe I can support and be a part of your exploration down your path, and also that I'll make it an exciting, engaging, fun experience, like a tour guide would. And I hope that you will let me join you on your path, because I certainly only have the path for my personal direction, and I have a lot of experience and ideas, and I hope that I can be a part of you figuring out your path and your place with your Jewish identity and your Jewish life.
Sounds awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Dale a question. So, you know, you've been such a source of, actually, I think, calm and joy for our children. And even the safety video that you put together with Catherine and the other preschool team about masks and, you know, wear your mask. And my kids watched that and cheered like it was a movie, like anything else we'd be watching on YouTube, and they loved it. I would love to just hear, we'd all love to hear a little bit from you, how you are suggesting that parents are grappling with just all the anxiety that's coming at us from different directions, and how we build some sort of structure.
No, thank you, Alana. I am so excited to be here and share my knowledge and passion for children, families, and be here as a support. I think this is not an easy task, to be at home with our children and support their learning. For me, it really excites me to witness how children learn and develop and support that growth. But doing that from home is no easy task. And I completely understand those challenges that we are all faced with. I do want to share that based on how children develop and ways that we can provide children with structure and create a setting that can support them is to provide predictability and consistency. And this can be created through creating a set schedule, establishing routines that create a sense of security for our children, and in turn help us feel more regulated and at ease and balanced with our environment and with our life. I think supporting the transitions that take place at home and identifying 5 to 10 minutes before when those transitions are taking place. Children at this age, they don't have a concept of time. They know before, they know after, but creating an approach where you can let them know what's happening. For my 6-year-old daughter, I often let her know the night before what we're going to be doing the next day, what the sequence of the day is going to look like. And as soon as she wakes up, I let Gabriella, my daughter's name is Gabriella, I let her know what the day is going to look like, and step by step walking her through the day, so that through those rituals, she is able to understand and know what to expect. And you know, as we know, children experience heightened states in their moods and feelings, especially when there are changes to their routine, which are can result from our projections through the energy that we're feeling, and being conscious of that energy that exists within us, and being honest with our children about the feelings that we're feeling, of course, in an age-appropriate way, where we're sharing with them you know, mommy's in the red zone. We use zones in our home, which is the color zones of
Wait, what does that mean? Mommy's in the red zone.
So the color zones of self-regulation are colors or emotions that are categorized into colors, different emotions. So the blue zone is sadness, the red zone is anger, the yellow zone is kind of a transitional zone, which is frustration, and the green zone is happy. And all of our feelings are okay to feel, but it's very much about establishing coping strategies that are healthy coping strategies. You know, we as adults have our coping strategies, and how we're, you know, coping with uncertainty, coping with all of our feelings surrounding fear and anxiety with what we're experiencing with this pandemic, and with our school system and what is taking place for us, and thinking about what we're modeling for our children, how we're modeling our coping strategies, and sharing with our children what is an effective strategy for us, and supporting those feelings of our children through validation. When our children are feeling those heightened states, really validating and empathizing with those feelings through showing our affect, through changing our affect, through labeling those feelings, not making assumptions about how our child is feeling, but exploring it together and identifying what is that feeling that they're feeling, put a name to that feeling, or put a zone to that feeling, and identifying and exploring different coping strategies, which are going to look different for different scenarios and for different feelings, and for each person is going to be very different, and finding positive cathartic outlets for those feelings that are lifelong skills. You know, we have our coping strategies that, you know, are sometimes not as healthy, and and that's okay, but it's an opportunity to explore coping strategies that are healthy and that are modeling.
How have you been coping?
As everyone, it has had different ranges of emotions throughout this experience. Honestly, I have had moments of feeling down and feeling uneasy about what is existing in our world. And I've kind of reset my schedule and how I'm doing things, and reevaluated and reflected what I need to do to self-care, to really identify how I can make a change so that I can be there for my child, so that I can be there for my family, and that I can support my family. You know, it's like the mask on the airplane. You have to breathe first before you can help others. You have to help yourself first before you can help others. And so that's been very different throughout this experience. You know, I've discovered that exercising and finding different outlets that I wasn't doing before really benefited me and strictly made that part of my routine, and that made a huge difference for me. Meditation is something, and just because these are effective strategies for me does not mean it's going to be effective for everybody. It's really about discovering what it is that helps you through those feelings and those emotions, and helps you stay at a state of equilibrium. And speaking of, you know, feelings and how our children are responding to their world and how we're reacting, I do want to also mention that I think it's really important to note that when our children are exhibiting heightened emotions and different emerging behaviors, I think there are a number of things that could be the cause of that behavior. And it's very important to look at what's behind that behavior. Is it a change to their routine? Is it that something is causing them to feel uneasy in their world, and really exploring that with your child? Also, when a child is mastering a new skill, they often regress in other areas that they have already mastered. And that's really important to note. When a child is toilet training, they will often regress in another area because all of their focus and being is working on mastering that skill. And then there is also a developmental stage that exists that is called equilibrium versus disequilibrium. And children often experience this at the half stages of their the year, and it's different for every child, but children will begin to behave in completely uncharacteristic ways. And often parents will come to me and they'll say, my child is not, I don't recognize my child anymore. What is happening? They're not responding to any of the approaches that were effective before. And it's really a time that they are imbalanced, that their cognitive state and their physical state are not aligned. And it's not an easy time for them.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I feel disembodied. I feel we're so much in our brains now because we're doing all of our meetings this way, that we're slowly losing touch with our physical sense. And that, you know, this is one of the reasons that I know Dale and Alana are thrilled to bring Adam on board, because Adam, you know, is a wonderful tour guide in the physical sense, leading hikes, leading trips, getting the older kids to push their boundaries and to really take them on a vision quest. Would you say vision quest? That may not be the appropriate term. Okay, well, ignore that.
Something else, but I'm not sure.
Ignore that.
In the comments, if you know.
Yeah. So Adam, I'm wondering, how do we guide our older kids? You know, the kids who, I mean, I'm thinking of my child who said to me the other day, I just want to be learning. And she's just sad that she can't learn. And she said that she can't be with her friends. And she's sad that she can't go and hike and explore. You know, the reason that we're so excited to bring you here is because you're going to tour guide everyone in this community to find their own path towards Judaism. And we adore that. But when the roads are as prescripted as they currently are, how do we guide our kids?
Well, you know, first, just Dale, so much wisdom that you shared, and it's a joy for me to be continuing to work with you, and just to hear how much you have to offer is just amazing. And I actually, you know, I'm a firm believer that what Dale is describing as ways to support young children is not really different from how we should be supporting the older kids as well. And I think, you know, I really got to back Dale on this notion of taking care of ourselves. And I think that that's first and foremost. And I think that, you know, when Dale describes this notion of routine and structure and kind of predictability for our kids, that's can be done. And I think what I'm struggling with, and I think maybe impacting our older kids, is that I can't create for myself any routine. I can't create a particular structure right now because I don't leave the house, right? So, you know, before I used to go to work and I would go to work because I'd leave the house. And then I would come home from work and then I would be in my house and be with my family. And that was a way to differentiate my day a bit. And in this moment, there's no way to do that. And I think what is happening, and again, this is from my own experience, I feel like our kids are handling this much better than we are. And and certainly we figure out ways to not let them feel that that's happening for us. But most of them aren't fully aware of the scope of what's going on here and the impact that this is going to have for a really long time. And so we unfortunately can't really ignore that as the adults. And I think it causes a great deal of anxiety. It causes, as Dale was describing, this disequilibrium. And it really, again, for me, it interferes with my ability to relate with others the way that I want to. I mean, I almost at time I question, like, who am I? How did that come out of my mouth? How did I say that? Because that's not who I am. And I realize that there's just this, it's a manifestation of this unknown. It's this manifestation of us being totally unclear. And that is a feeling that we are really not okay with. And it's something that we've never actually had to deal with much until now. We've been pretty comfy. And so so with regards to how we're taking care of the older children, I think be real with yourself. First, kind of figure out how are you really caring for yourself, figure out how you are expressing your feelings. And then I would partner with your kids in this experience. They are super capable, much more capable than we ever give them credit for. And I believe that they actually should be guiding us a bit through how to cope at this time, because they're much better at being present than we are. And I think I'm personally stuck in like what just happened or what's gonna happen. And it's really hard to stay present. It's really hard to even figure out when I'm supposed to eat because there's just no routine. I don't know when to get my physical activity. I believe that I can, and I do have a connection to that part of me, but I feel super disconnected from that right now. And that it just layers and builds on your ability to manage, your ability to support your children, and your ability to really see your children for where they are and what they're experiencing. So, if there's any advice in that, I would say, have as real of a conversation as you can with your kids. Let them know how you're feeling, and be wary of projecting your experience on what they're experiencing, because no doubt that there's a ton of loss for them, and there's a great deal of anger and upset and disappointment. But at the same time, they're probably making the best of it. And some days for me, making the best of it is really hard. And so, follow their lead right now.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. And I think that what both of you are speaking to in terms of self-care is making me also think about practicing self-kindness and just kind of the way that we're, interpreting how we're handling or how well we're doing or not during this, and extending that to ourselves as well at this time, because we need that.
If I can just kind of just build on that, is this notion also that I've been struggling with about being kind to yourselves, is this idea of are we allowed to have joy right now?
Yes.
It's really what I find myself asking. Can I have fun? Is it okay? And I think that's particularly making this even harder for us, is because the moments when things are, quote unquote normal or before the pandemic, you didn't really question when you had joyous moments in your day. Those happen and they inspire you and they uplift you, and it's great. And I find myself now, like, if I'm doing something joyous, it's almost like I feel guilty that I did that. That, like, how can I be having fun right now? And I think that's probably the most important time that we're in. And I kind of like to describe this moment that we're in as like the wilderness, that we are so deep in this unknown, and that barely know where to step forward or to go back, and that more than ever, having some joy has got to be a priority. And so again, I think the children are probably having much more joyous moments throughout the day, and probably some of those drive us nuts, to be honest. When they're having joy, it's probably it drives us a bit crazy. But again, we need joy, they need joy, and I'm encouraging everybody to celebrate some joy. Thank goodness we have the weekly ritual of Shabbat, because that, we're embedded to show some gratitude and find some joy.
Let me ask the both of you. We're going to bring out Jonathan in a bit to participate in this conversation, because he was a part of a very successful Join program that I think some of the people who are watching in were part of during the pre-COVID era. So we have now, the two of you are now our family engagement team. And so for people who are part of Beth Shalom who are watching this, or are living in San Francisco, and maybe they're having a child soon, or maybe their child is moving up out of preschool, and they're looking to connect, how do they reach out to you? How can we continue to serve them better, I guess is my question.
We are always here as a resource for everyone. I'm always available through phone, text, email.
Do I have to be a member? Do I have to be a member to email you? Do I have to, can I call you if I'm not a member? If I'm just a San Franciscan who has a child and I don't know what to do, I can call you?
Of course you can call me, and I'm here to help.
Right.
I'm a resource for everybody. I think that this is a time that we really need to be there for each other. And so for that reason, I think that we need to support each other and offer what we can.
And Adam, how do we engage some of those teens, some of those older kids who are very, maybe they're internalizing this in ways? How do we get at them, and what sort of support can we provide them?
Yeah, I think that this is an amazing time, and I'm a witness to incredible things being done by that demographic. And so as soon as I get my feet a bit more settled, I have every intention of reaching out to all the teens that I'm aware of and that have been kind of directed towards me as passionate, compassionate, and very determined young people who want to find their place. And I think that they have a lot to say right now, and they have a lot to contribute to not just Jewish life, but to some of the big issues that are happening around our country and world. And so I have every intention of engaging them and challenging them really to tell me what they want. What do they want? Why do they come to Beth Shalom? Why are they a part of the Madrachim program? What are they looking for? And again, how does their Jewish identity, how is that a part of who they are? Because I'm very aware that the teen of today, they're not one thing. And so I realize that their Jewish selves is a part of who they are, and I want to support that, encourage it, and help it, and help them kind of figure out how it coalesces with the rest of who they are and how they identify.
I think also out of the work that you and the work that you and your family are engaged in around justice, that just to me feels like a way that cohort will really respond and be so grateful to have your guidance and leadership with as well.
Yeah, I'm anxious always for more action, and again, I think that the teens are are dialed into that in a way that I'm not, and in a way that I wish I was. And so yeah, let's partner in figuring out what matters to us. How is it relevant in a Jewish way, and let's have some impact on the world.
And I think, this period can break down some of the old, I don't know, boundaries or barriers around people working together and getting together. And so hopefully as we enter into this new space, it maybe flattens everything and we can actually move past some of those older distinctions and find new ways to collaborate and to work together with other peoples and other organizations that perhaps never existed before. And so we're thrilled to have both of you here. I want to welcome Jonathan. Jonathan, let's have you come back in. Jonathan is a vitally important person to our team. And Jonathan, I wanted to ask you, because I shared with you earlier that Shimmy loves you. That's our 6-year-old, and he loves your guitar playing. And I, as this community is well aware, am not musically gifted. And so, the idea of homeschooling and wanting to encourage music. Music is everything in our hearts and matters so much to all of us. And yet there's that inability to teach it. And so I'm just wondering if you can just share a little bit about, what music can do to bring us together. And even if we can't teach it, how we might be able to bring it into our homes.
It's really funny that you're asking me that question, Rabbi Ain, because I notice a very, very big difference in my life and in my days and on the quality of how things have been under COVID when I listen to music as opposed to listening to the news or looking at or looking at my phone. The first thing I say to parents when they're saying how do I encourage my child to be musical is play music, enjoy music. It's really just the kind of musical corollary to everything that Dale and Adam have been saying about general education. How do you get your child to be introspective? Ask questions about yourself. How do you get your child to communicate with them? So I would say playing music is the best thing you can do. And I don't know about anybody else, but I really do. I'm always very happy when I make the conscious decision to say I'm not going to listen to the PBS broadcast, that I'm not going to look at my phone anymore, and I'm going to listen to some music. Also, this is going to sound like I'm a shill, I swear. Rabbi didn't plant this on me. My wife and I used to love to sing on Shabbat before kids. Whenever I had a chance, whenever I wasn't working. And at a certain point, we kind of gave it up because the kids were, underfoot, and you needed to kind of do something else. So we'd have Shabbat dinner, and we've started singing again on Shabbat. And at first, the kids kind of ran from it like it was a extra brachot or something like that. Like, get me away from it, whatever. And we've seen them after about a couple repetitions of it, them kind of peeking back around the corner. And even, maybe they'll be reading a book or something like that, but they're listening and enjoying it. And it's really been it's been another reason to look forward to Shabbat. So I would say 2 things that everybody can do: play music, and sing. And Rabbi Ain is extremely musical.
Me too.
He's singing all the time in his house. Okay.
I am. That is true. That is true. Not just in his.
That's what I mean. You brought up the White Stripes song just before.
He heard me sing during the pre. Yeah. So we're a little late. So I just want to say thank you to. First of all, it's a complete blessing to have this group here serving this community. I feel blessed to be the rabbi of this community. I feel blessed to learn and to share and to be in community with all of you. And I want to encourage people who are looking for community and looking for support to know that we're here and that you're always welcome to come and find us. We're at bestshalomsf.org. And as Dale said, don't hesitate. We're here for all of you.
And I also want to mention that for families with young children, if you'd like to join us on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and hear more of Jonathan's incredible music and stories and join our virtual community, please go on our website and you'll find the info there. But we'd love for you to join us.
Thank you. And thank you, Adam. I'm thrilled that you are with us here. And it's no small task, but I feel blessed to be able to do it with all of you. Jonathan, we have a note in here in the comments that says music is what feelings sound like, and music is so important. So you had mentioned to me a song that you wanted to play us out with. What are you going to play for us?
Well, I played us in, of course, with Yedid Nefesh, and that song always reminds me of Dale because as we greet Shabbat with like the joy of a friend, or even a lover, but I'll say a friend here. This is the family, especially one. But as we greet Shabbat with like the joy of a long lost friend, that's how Dale greets everybody who walks into Beth Shalom. I want to go out on one that actually the preschool groups are all named by different like Hebrew words, like Adama and Keshet, and one of them is named Shemesh. And one of our teachers, Vered, what's Vered's last name?
Levinson.
Vered Levinson helped me translate this song into Hebrew, but I think you'll all know it. It's a little bit aspirational, but I think it's becoming true, and it's becoming even more true. ילדודך היה ארוך וקר החורף, ילדודך נדמה שכבר חלפו שנים, הנה שמש בא, הנה שמש בא, תראו איזה יופי. ילדודך היה ארוך וקר החורף, ילדודך מזמן שלא היה בהיר, הנה שמש בא דודו, הנה שמש בא תראו איזה יופי. Ba, 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 shemesh ba. Ba, 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 shemesh ba. Ba, 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 shemesh ba. We'll do it once in English for everybody. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Ba, 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 shemesh ba. Sun, 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 here it comes.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Take care. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.